Alright, hey guys, what's going on? This is Space here, and welcome to another video. Alright, so 2018 is officially over. It's been over for about 15 years or so. So, there were a lot of good movies that came out last year, a lot of great movies that came out last year, and I figured now is the perfect time to talk about them. So, here we have my 15 favorite movies of last year. And yes, I know, people usually do top 10 favorite movies of 2018 or the whatever year, but I couldn't really narrow it down to 10, so I just had to make it 15, or else I would have had like a million honorable mentions. So alright, so speaking of honorable mentions, before we get this list started off, we have two honorable mentions. And the first one being Black Panther. Now, I saw this movie about 5 times last year. I saw it twice in the theater, and then I watched it like 3 times due to me watching it with my family, and then I watched it with my other family, my cousins and stuff, and whatever, So I saw it a lot, and I really enjoy it. I think it was a great movie, really well made, and had a great villain too. That was great. The Marvel movies don't always have like the best villains. There are some pretty good standout villains, but we finally got another great villain in the series, and it seems like we've been getting a lot of great villains recently, so that's great. I said great 3 times. That's alright. So alright, yes. Pretty great movie. And yes. And the second one, the last honorable mention, we only have 2 this time. I've only done this 1 year. This is the first year I've done it, so why do I say this time? You know what? Whatever. Okay, so we have Love, Simon. Yes, surprise, surprise. I thought this was a great movie. It's a romance movie, but it also has like some mystery to it too. Simon is trying to figure out who this person is, Blue, trying to figure out who they are, and it's a great mystery too. It's a fun movie, and wholesome, and heartwarming, and great movie. Alright, so now on to the list. At number 15, we have Mary Poppins Returns. Now, this is a movie that I never would have thought we would have seen a sequel to Mary Poppins, but hey, here we are, we got it. So, all of the actors and actresses did such an amazing job, and it was just such a fun experience. The songs are great. There's some really great dance numbers, too. Of course, it's Mary Poppins. Of course, you have to have dance numbers. And, everything looked so great. It was, nice and colorful, very vibrant looking, and, good stuff. I like the story, too. I thought they did a good choice for the story. The Banks kids are older now, and they have kids themselves, too. Or at least one of them does. All of the characters were likable, and the villain was pretty good, too. Yes, so such a fun experience, and great time. Alright, next up at number 14, we have a movie that is pretty much the exact opposite of the tone of this, the last movie, and that is Halloween from 2018, of course, because I'm doing the list from 2018, yes. So the original Halloween from 1978 was the first slasher film that I saw, and one of the earlier horror movies that I saw. And, man, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I like the characters and stuff, and especially Michael Myers. I thought he was an interesting character, just like how he's just, so dark. He doesn't talk, That makes him even more interesting, more mysterious, and, he just wants to kill people, man. He's messed up, but, he's interesting from, a psychological point of view, And anyways, and then the new movie, I was pretty excited for. I saw the trailer, I was like, do I want to see this? Because, Originally, I just wanted to see the first movie, and I was like, alright, that's probably all I need to hear, all I need to see. But then, when I saw that, I was like, you know what, maybe I will see it, since I haven't seen any of the other ones at the time. But then I went back, I saw the second one, and I also have seen Resurrection, and H2O. So I decided to see this one in the theater, and I was pretty excited. I just rewatched the movie. The first movie, of course, and that got me really pumped for the second one, or, well, the new one, I should say, which I guess is the second one. Everything was really great. I liked the cinematography. It has, a nice feel to it, kind of has, a little bit of an older feel to it, which I thought was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed the side characters, too, and, the main characters and stuff. I thought they were really good, and especially liked seeing Laurie Strode again, and her being, this super awesome chick, ready for anything, and scarred with Michael, the happenings of Michael Myers, and now she's ready to take him on once again and get her revenge and stuff like that. I thought that was really well done. And all of the characters really nice. There was one that I didn't like, but you're not really supposed to like this character, so that's alright. And but overall, I actually felt bad for some of them when they died, so that was, There's some pretty good kills in this movie too, some pretty brutal ones as well, so that was pretty cool. The score was amazing. There's so many good themes from this movie. Of course, you have the original theme, as well as some new stuff by John Carpenter and his son, which I thought was so cool. And some really cool scenes in this movie. There's some really weird humor in this movie too, which really just kind of adds to it. It's kind of funny. And the opening to this movie too is so cool. I mean, you just got to see it, man. It's awesome. Overall, I feel like this is the best Halloween sequel so far, so that's great. And alright, so now at number 13, we have a movie from earlier last year. I think it was like February or maybe even January. And that is Game Night. Oh man, this movie is so funny. It's a great original comedy movie. Has a great premise too, you know, like these group of friends like play games all the time and now they get involved in like this like really like big game, you know. It's like a more realistic game and like they figure out that it's actually real and not a game. So yeah, good stuff. And there's so many funny moments in this too, and there's some great acting, some really great performances in this movie, and the soundtrack's pretty awesome too. I like the cinematic style of this movie too. It has a really nice style, like some really cool choices and stuff for like shots and stuff. There's a scene where there's like a key that's being turned and like the camera moves with the key. So cool. And yeah, it has some like Edgar Wright-esque stuff in it too, like, you know, like the quick montages and stuff. Yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah, it's got a nice style, fun story, great characters, and man, so good. Great original comedy. Speaking of original, at number 12, we have Bad Times at the El Royale. Man, this movie is so well crafted. The story takes place in this hotel that is right at the state line of Nevada and California. And the movie takes place during the early 70s, so this movie also has a great soundtrack. It's packed with some awesome music from that time, and good stuff. And the characters, man, they're so well acted, and the characters are interesting too. Each of them kind of has like a little secret behind them, so it's interesting seeing that all unravel, and you get to experience like the movie and the story from certain characters' point of views. So it's interesting seeing how that all like just comes together, like it all crisscrosses and stuff and loops around, and just everything is it's great. You see the backstory of each character too, and see like who they are, where they come from, and why they're there. So it's really interesting. Like how the movie unfolds is really great. It's like just goes through and yeah, explains everything. So it's great. It doesn't give you everything all at once. You have to wait for it and just experience it as it goes along. It's a fun ride. This is definitely one of the best mystery thrillers in a while, man. It's just so great. Alright, and at number 11, we have Creed 2. Now, I've been a fan of Rocky for a few years now. I really enjoy the original movies. I like the emotion that's tied to the movies, and not just like some silly sports movies. You actually feel for the characters, you know, especially Rocky. In the beginning of Rocky 1, you get all of this establishment of Rocky's character. You know, it takes like an hour just spending time with Rocky, you know, trying to understand who he is and like where he's coming from. You just really build a bond with him, and that carries on for the rest of the series. You feel for him. And yeah, it just carries you on for the series. And I was really impressed with the first Creed movie. I felt like Rocky 5 was probably the weakest installment in the series, but then it really kicked back up with Rocky Balboa, which felt like it could have been the end of the series, but then they carried on through Adonis Creed, which I thought was great. And yeah, I really liked Adonis' character, as well as the characters that have been established in the series, like the new characters in Creed. And the second one, man, had a long time coming rematch, and it was great seeing that unfold, seeing characters that we haven't seen in a while since Rocky 4. That was so cool. And like the way they handled the characters too is really well done. Like the characters have like more of a story behind them, you know. You really get to feel for them too. Even the villain, you get to feel for him as well. And this is like one of the first times you see Adonis go through something. I won't say what it is exactly, but you know, you see him go through the struggle, you know. Overall, this is an amazing installment to the series. Now, speaking of long time coming, at number 10, we have Incredibles 2. This is a movie that a lot of people, including myself, have been waiting for quite a while. I love the original Incredibles. It's so amazing. One of the best superhero movies ever, and it has one of the best animated superhero movies ever, too. And man, it's so great. It's got an amazing soundtrack. This one, too, also has an amazing soundtrack. And it was great finally seeing this happen, you know. It's been in the works for a while now, and here it is. The voice acting was great. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was a nice, fresh take. Although I do admit the villain was a little weak, I still enjoyed the villain. Thought they were pretty cool. It was just great seeing these characters once again. I mean, we haven't seen them in quite a while, and they're back. The animation, too, is really nice looking. I loved it. It was just so fresh and new looking, and man. I personally felt that this one wasn't as good as the original, but it was still a great entry. Alright, up next at number 9, we have Bohemian Rhapsody. I've been a fan of Queen for quite a while now. I've listened to their greatest hits album so many times, man. And it was great finally seeing a movie about them. The performances in this movie were amazing. I mean, all of the characters really looked like they're actual, like, real people. I thought that was really awesome. The casting was so good. And Rami Malek's version of Freddie Mercury was just so amazing. Definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite performance of this year. Is just incredible. And seeing their story unfold on the big screen was so awesome. And the music, of course, obviously is amazing. And it's really cool seeing the performances too, like them reenacting the performances, some of the performances of Queen, and seeing how they came up with some of the songs too. It was just such a fun experience and just such an amazing movie. I loved it. Up next at number 8 is Aquaman. Yes, DC finally did it. I think they did an amazing job with Wonder Woman, as well as Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. And I liked Justice League too. But now they finally have one that's really just been kicking it, man. It's been doing great in the box office. And yes, Aquaman. I really enjoyed everything about this movie. It was just such a fun experience, such a fun blockbustery movie with a lot of fun action and some great story, some great performances, of course, as always. And the visuals were really nice too. They looked amazing. There were some little rough patches, but for the most part, it just looked so great. It was great seeing Aquaman finally getting his own solo film. I don't really think he's actually had a solo film. And you get that really cool introduction to him in Justice League, and it just leaves you wanting more, and here it is. When I first saw the trailer, I kind of thought that it actually did look like Black Panther underwater, but it's definitely way more than that. It doesn't really follow the story of Black Panther at all, so, it doesn't have too many similarities. And yes, the villain was also really good too. I really enjoyed the villain. And just everything about it really is just so incredible. It's great. Definitely really making me looking forward more to some more DC movies. Alright, at number 7 we have Bumblebee. When I first saw this movie, I was just blown away by how amazing it was. Definitely the best Transformer movie we've seen in quite a while. So yes, we're finally back to the good Transformer movies. About time. And when I first saw this movie, I was like, alright, I'll put this at number 13. I really enjoyed it. But I feel like there's some more movies I really enjoyed more. But then when I got to thinking about it, I was like, you know what? This movie deserves to be a lot higher on that list. On my list, I should say. And whoo, this is so great. It takes place in the 80s. I love the 80s. Towards the end of the 80s, 87. And the music was so great. The characters are so lovable. And seeing Bumblebee again in his own solo movie was great too. I feel like he's definitely a character that deserved a solo movie. And he got it. So everything about this movie was just really well done. The animation was incredible. The way the Transformers look in this movie is just so nice. Looks like their original form, and it's incredible. And the story is pretty good too. I really enjoyed the story. This really makes me hopeful for the future of Transformers. Last night was it was last night. But they finally really pulled their act together and it really just created another great Transformers movie. I really hope that Travis Knight sticks with it and makes some more Transformers movies. And yes, I mean, even the movie, it doesn't quite have that Michael Bay feel about it either, which I thought was nice. Michael Bay has a really specific style and it gets kind of annoying after a while, if I'm going to be honest. But of course, there are still explosions in the movie, whatever. But yeah, it's great to see a new, fresh take and a new style in the series. And man, really looking forward to the next one. Alright, at number 6 we have a movie that I don't know if a lot of people really enjoyed as much as I did, but I enjoyed it a lot, so that is Solo, a Star Wars Story. Yes. Now, when Alden was cast as Han, I wasn't 100% certain, but then after seeing maybe the first 10 minutes, I was like, yep, alright, it is good. So, yes. It was cool learning about kind of the backstory of Han, It really wasn't something I ever thought we'd see, but now we have it, so that's pretty cool. And yes, it had that Star Wars-y feel, of course. I mean, it is a Star Wars movie. And there were some really awesome scenes in this movie, too. It was great seeing a young Lando, too. I thought Donald Glover really knocked it out of the park. He was the perfect choice for young Lando, and it really worked well. And there's a lot of fun scenes. It has a good story, too. And yeah, it's just such a fun and energetic movie. Alright, now we're getting down to the wire. Now, I do admit the first 15 to about 7 or so where it's really hard to choose between those to see which ones, how they fall in order. I don't even know if I have them in the right order, honestly, of how I liked them or yeah. But these ones, I definitely feel like this is definitely the correct order for me. The last 5 are definitely in the order that I think that they should be for myself, Okay, so, alright, at number 5, we have Into the Spider-Verse. I really don't know if words can describe how much I enjoyed this movie. I was just so blown away by how amazing it was. Now, I do think it's not the best Spider-Man movie ever. I still will give that to the Raimi series. Those movies are so amazing. But this was definitely an amazing Spider-Man movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. The animation was so fresh and original. It had that comic book feel to it. I thought that was really awesome. And I'd love to see more movies like that. It was just so cool. And the visuals were just so great. And the characters are so lovable, and really great seeing these characters in the movie. We really haven't seen Miles or Gwen in any of the movies. Well, of course we've seen Gwen, but I got this version of Gwen. So, and like it was really comic book accurate too. Like especially like Gwen Stacy's background, Spider Gwen's background was it's really comic book accurate. And it was like so funny too. It was some really funny moments as well as some serious moments. And yeah, I think overall it's just really incredibly well done. And I hope we see some more Marvel movies like this in the future. Alright, here we go. So at number 4, we have First Man. This was directed by personally one of my favorite modern directors, and that is Damien Chazelle. And it was really amazingly well crafted and just so great, so fun to watch. This is a movie I feel like I could watch like every month and not get tired of it. And yeah, the performances were great, of course. And the cinematography was really cool too. It's like really tense and really makes you feel like you're there yourself. And yes, the music too, oh my goodness. This is definitely my favorite soundtrack of this year. My favorite original soundtrack, of course, like composed soundtrack, like movie music soundtrack, just like so powerful and emotional. It's just, it fits so well. It has that spacey feel to it too, and I just love it so much. I listen to it a lot too, so, oh man. And yeah, just everything about this movie, I really, just so great. And so well done, and a really like a triumphant story to see how it all unfolds, and just overall great. Down to the last 3. Alright, I feel like the last one will surprise you guys, so keep that in mind. You may not know what the last one is. Unless you skipped ahead, then you probably know what it is. Okay, so at number 3, we have Ready Player One. This is directed by, of course, one of my favorite, even probably my favorite director of all time, Steven Spielberg. And it's just such a amazing, really fun movie. It's got a great soundtrack. It's like filled with a bunch of nostalgia. There's a bunch of references everywhere. And the animation is like really, really nice. I like all of the characters. I thought they were amazing. And there's so many great scenes in this movie. I've seen it a few times this year. And man, every time I see it, I just want to rewatch it over and over again. Alright, at number 2, we have Mission Impossible Fallout. Yes, the 6th movie in the series, and I personally feel like it's the best in the series. That's incredible. They just keep on getting better and better. That's it's really something. And man, this one is so well written. Like Christopher McQuarrie is definitely one of the best screenwriters we have today. So great. It's a lot of really nice twists and turns, and it was amazing seeing the characters that we love, that we've seen for a while in the series, as well as some returning characters too, which was awesome. The soundtrack, of course, was amazing, and the fight scenes were incredible, and everything was really well shot too. I just yeah, especially like the helicopter scene was so cool. If I had to choose one word for this movie to describe it, I'd say incredible. All right. Here we go. Number 1. Now, this may surprise you guys, but this is how I feel, alright? It's just an opinion. So, at number 1, we have The Grinch. No, I'm just kidding. It's Infinity War. It's all been waiting. All been leading up to this. All 10 years of the MCU have been leading up to this, and it happened, and it was amazing. And I'm really looking forward to the next one. Endgame will probably be my favorite movie this year, unless if Star Wars Episode 9 is my favorite movie. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be one of my favorite movies of this year, guaranteed. And oh my goodness, this is just so amazing. It was a pretty long movie too. It was great. It just flew by so fast. And seeing Thanos was great, It's been a long time coming, like I said. It's all been building up to this with all of the Infinity Stones and whatnot. And yeah, Thanos was a great villain too. I'm really glad they handled him really well. They really made you understand him and kind of feel for him, where he's coming from. That was great. It really yeah, helped the movie a lot. And seeing all of the characters we know and love in the movie all together was great. And man, I really don't know what to say about this movie besides it was just so incredible and just one of the best movies of this year. And personally, my favorite movie of this year. It's just man. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your favorite movies are this year. I'm definitely interested in seeing what those are. And yes, hopefully you enjoyed this probably cringy video, but that's okay.